Hello, travelers and monster catchers abound. I'm Stella Ferris, and you crash landed on the Monster Catchers Journal podcast, and I hope you enjoy this episode for this week. The glyph detector didn't just beep, it screamed. A sharp metallic whine echoed through the cathedral ruins, bouncing off towering stainless glass windows that painted the ground in shifted blues, purples, and reds. Tuskunai froze beside me. That's when I knew. Same origin? I whispered. Yukimori? The air grew heavy, like heat trapped under stone. Then he stepped out, slow, silent, watching, a sleek spotted predator, but what made my heart stop were the two massive antlers rising from his head, both forged into curved samurai swords, gleaming under the colored light, and along his back, from his shoulders all the way down to the tip of his tail, rows of razor-sharp pirate throwing stars, embedded like living armor, each one catching the light like spinning blades waiting to strike. Kurofangra. I breathed, reading the detector. Tuskunai let out a low metallic hum, recognition. Then he vanished, not gone, just too fast to track. A slicing wind rushed past me. Tuskunai. Clink. Tuskunai intercepted him mid-strike, his kunai trunk locking against one of Kurofangra's antlers blades. Sparks exploded between them, lighting up the cathedral like a storm of fireflies. Kurofangra twisted his body midair. The throwing star along his spine spun violently, creating a shredding arc of steel as he whipped his tail toward Tuskunai. This wasn't just speed, this was precision, weaponized instinct. They clashed against metal, each movement sharper than the last, not a fight, a trial. Two glyphs born from the same volcanic eruption, testing who was stronger. Kurofangra landed silently, circling now. His sword antlers tilted slightly, measuring, judging, his tail flicking in the line of throwing stars, shimmering, ready to tear through anything that came close. He wasn't attacking blindly. He was deciding if it was worth it. I stepped forward. "I know where you came from," I said. "Same fire, same forge." Tuskunai shifted beside me, but didn't move. I raised my hand slowly. "I don't take glyphs." I met Kurofangra's glowing eyes. "I complete them." In a flash, he lunged straight at me, blades first. I didn't move, not even when those sword's antlers came inches from my face. At the last second, Tuskunai slammed into him, knocking him aside. The two rolled across the stained floor, blades and steel clashing in a storm of spark. Tuskunai, stop. He froze. Kurofangra rose slowly. No growl, no attack, just watching me. Different now. I pulled out my glyphid. It pulsed immediately, reacting to him. I placed it on the ground and pressed the button. "You're not a weapon," I said softly. "You're a guardian forged from chaos." I stepped closer. "So fight with me." Silence filled the cathedral. Then Kurofangra lowered his head. His twin sword antlers dipped forward, not in attack, but in acceptance. The glyphid activated. Light wrapped around him, tracing every blade, every star, every edge of his form until he looked like molten steel reborn. Then, capture complete. When the light faded, Tuskunai stood beside him. The two didn't move, but they didn't fight either. Same origin, same fire, now on the same side. I exhaled slowly and smiled. Yeah, this team is getting way too dangerous. The walk back to the sanctuary was quieter than I expected. Not peaceful, just controlled. Tuskunai didn't walk beside me. He never did. Instead, he moved the way he always had, balanced perfectly on the ring of his kunai, hopping forward in smooth, rhythmic motions. Each landing made a soft tink against the ground, precise and steady, almost disciplined. At my side, clipped securely to my belt, Kurofangra rested inside his glyphid. Even through the casing, I could feel him, not asleep, not calm, just watching. The path through the Yukimori fallout zone stretched ahead of us, dark and glassy under the glow of the twin suns and three unmoving moons. The ground shimmered faintly like it still remembered the eruption that created them both. Tuskunai slowed, his hops becoming even slower, sharper. I didn't need the detector to know why. Kurofangra. A faint vibration pulsed from the glyphid at my side once, twice, like a heartbeat made of steel. Hey, I said quietly, resting a hand over it. We're not doing that again. The vibration didn't stop, but it didn't get stronger either. Tuskunai turned slightly, balancing effortlessly on the ring of his kunai. The blade glinted as he tilted facing the glyphid. Even without words, I could feel it. The same tension from before. Both of you, I muttered. Seriously? I stopped walking. The silence pressed in around us. I unclipped the glyphid slowly, held it out in front of me. It pulsed brighter this time, reacting instantly. You chose to come with me, I said softly. That means something. I glanced at Tuskunai and you already are something. For a moment nothing happened. Then the glyphid gave one sharp pulse and went still. Tuskunai tilted back upright. The tension eased, not gone, but quieter. Good, I whispered. That's better. We kept moving. Tuskunai resumed his steady, hopping rhythm. Beside me, the soft metallic tink, 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 echoing faintly across the empty terrain. The glyphid stayed warm at my side, not restless anymore, just present. But by the time the hidden entrance came into view, the sky hadn't changed at all. Twin suns still burning, 3 moons still watching. Nibiru never gave you night, only moments like this. I placed my hand against the concealed door. It hummed in recognition. Home, I said quietly. Behind me, tink. Tuskunai landed beside my foot, closer than before. At my side, the glyphid gave one soft pulse. No, not tension, not challenge, something else. The door slid open, light spilled out from the sanctuary. I took a breath. All right. A small smile crept onto my face. Let's see how everyone reacts to this. Inside, I could already feel Aura Beak waiting. The sanctuary doors hadn't even fully closed before I felt it. A rush of air, a sharp cry. It was Aura Beak. He dropped from the upper beams in a flash of glowing feathers, landing right in front of me with a heavy thud. His wings flared wide, eyes locked on me first, then immediately to my belt. Oh, here we go, I muttered. Tuskunai gave a soft tink as he landed beside me, perfectly balanced on his kunai ring. He didn't move after that, but he didn't need to. He was watching. Aura Beak tilted his head, slow, suspicious. Then he stepped closer. No, I said, holding up my hand. Don't start. Too late. The glyphid pulsed, bright, reactive. Aura Beak's feathers bristled, instantly glowing brighter as he let out a sharp warning cry that echoed through the sanctuary halls. Scream! Okay, everyone, relax, I snapped. Tuskunai shifted just slightly, a tiny hop closer to me. Protective. The glyphid at my side grew warm again, the same pressure building inside it. Kurofangra responded. Don't you dare, I warned under my breath. Aura Beak stepped even closer now, lowering his head until he was eye level with the glyphid. The room felt like it was holding its breath, then thrum! The glyphid flared with light, not releasing, just pushing back. Aura Beak jerked his head up, startled, but not backing away. If anything, more interested. You feel him, don't you? I said quietly. Aura Beak let out a lower, quieter sound this time, not a warning, something closer to curiosity. Tuskunai gave a soft tink as he adjusted his balance again, still watching, still ready. I slowly unclipped the glyphid. All right, I said, if we're doing this, we're doing it calmly. I held it out in front of us. It pulsed once, twice. Aura Beak leaned in. Tuskunai didn't move. Then I pressed the release. Light burst outward, sharp, metallic controlled. Kurofangra emerged in a flash of steel and gold, landing silently between all of us. His twin sword antlers gleamed, catching the sanctuary light, and along his back the line of pirate throwing stars shifted with a soft, deadly chime. Silence. Aura Beak froze. Tuskunai stilled. Kurofangra didn't attack, didn't move. He just stood there, looking at them. Then Aura Beak let out a short, sharp call, not aggressive, not friendly either, a challenge. Tuskunai answered with a single, firm tink, and just like that, all 3 of them stood there. Me in the middle, 3 completely different kind of powers, all staring at each other. This, I sighed, rubbing my temple, is exactly what I was worried about. Kurofangra flicked his tail slightly, the throwing star shifting, but didn't launch. Aura Beak folded his wings halfway, still tense, but not attacking. Tuskunai didn't move at all, balanced, ready, waiting. I stepped forward, placing myself between them again. No fighting! I looked at each of them, one by one. That's not how this works anymore. For a moment, nothing happened. Then Kurofangra lowered his head slightly, not fully, but enough. Aura Beak's wings relaxed just a little. Tuskunai gave a soft tink. And just like that, the storm didn't happen. I exhaled slowly. Whew, okay, a small smile crept in. We're getting somewhere. But deep down I knew this wasn't over. Not even close. The tension didn't break. It shifted, like a storm that had decided not to strike yet. Aura Beak slowly folded his wings all the way in now. Though his eyes never left Kurofangra. Tuskunai gave a soft tink as he adjusted his balance beside me, still perched perfectly on the ring of his kunai. And Kurofangra, he stood still, but not stiff, not hostile, just aware. All right, I said, exhaling. That's enough staring each other down for one day. I turned and started walking deeper into the sanctuary. For a second, I wasn't sure if they followed. Then, tink, Tuskunai hopped over after me. A soft rush of air, Aura Beak lifted and glided overhead, keeping pace. Beside me, I heard a quiet metallic shift, Kurofangra moving. Not fast, not aggressive, just choosing to follow. We entered the main chamber, the heart of the sanctuary. The glowing walls hummed softly, lined with glyphids, relics, and fragments of stories we've collected home. Home. That's what it was. It was home. I stopped in the center and turned back to them. This is where you belong now. Aura Beak landed on one of the upper perches, still watching. Tuskunai hopped forward and stopped at my side again. Kurofangra took a few slow steps into the room. His sword antlers caught the ambient light, reflecting it across the walls. The throwing stars along his back gave a faint chime as he moved. No one attacked, no one challenged, just silence. I smiled a little. Good. Then I reached down and lightly tapped the floor. Positions? Aura Beak tilted his head. Tuskunai didn't move. Kurofangra narrowed his gaze slightly. Not a fight. I added. Just show me you can stand together. For a moment nothing happened. Then Tuskunai moved first. Tink. He hopped forward and stopped just ahead of me. Aura Beak dropped from above, landing to my right with a controlled flare of feathers. Kurofangra hesitated just a second. Then he stepped forward and took his place on my left. I looked at them, all three, side by side, different, dangerous, powerful, and finally not fighting. Yeah, I said quietly, a real smile this time. We're going to be unstoppable. For a brief moment, everything felt right, but then the lights flickered, once, twice, and every glyphid in the room gave a faint synchronized pulse. I froze. No. Aura Beak's wings snapped open. Tuskunai's stance sharpened instantly. Kurofangra's throwing star shifted with a sharp metallic shik. The sanctuary wasn't reacting to them. It was reacting to something else. Something that had found us, far above, beyond the stone and sky of Nibiru. Something ancient stirred. And for the first time since we got back, all three of my glyphs moved at once, not against each other, but in front of me, protecting me. I swallowed, so I whispered, heart pounding. They finally noticed. We ran a scan, and the silence after the scan didn't last long. It never does. At first it was a vibration, barely noticeable. A faint tremor under my boots. Then thud. The entire sanctuary shuddered. Dust fell from the ceiling. Aura Beak shot upward with a sharp cry. Coree! Tuskunai snapped into position in front of me, balancing on his kunai ring with perfect precision. Tink! Kurofangra didn't hesitate. He stepped forward, placing himself at the entrance tunnel, directly facing the hidden door. Another impact. Thud. This one stronger. They didn't usually knock, I muttered. The walls lit up again, but not like before. Now the glyphids glowed in warning. Deep red. Council, I whispered. A low, distorted voice echoed faintly through the stone. Not inside, not outside, somewhere in between. Stelliferous Quasar. My chest tightened. We know what you carry. Aura Beak's feathers flared violently, light spilling across the chamber. Tuskunai spun slightly, blade angled forward. Kurofangra's throwing stars shifted with a sharp metallic ripple. Another hit, thud, crack. A thin, fractured split across the hidden door. "You've got to be kidding me," I said under my breath. "They found the entrance that fast?" The voice came colder this time, closer. "Return the Yukimori forged glyphs." I stepped forward past Tuskunai, past Kurofangra. "No!" Silence, then the strongest impact yet. Boom! The door splintered. Light from outside bled through the cracks. Harsh, white, wrong. Aura Beak screeched. Tuskunai lunged forward slightly, but Kurofangra didn't move. He lowered his head, sword antlers forward, body still, waiting. The cracks widened. Stone began to give. "Last warning," the voice echoed. "You are in possession of council property." I clenched my fist. "They're not property!" Another step forward. I stood just behind Kurofangra now. "They chose me." The door gave way. Crash! Stone exploded inward. Smoke and dust filled the entrance, and through it, tall figures began to emerge, distorted by light, cloaked, watching. Aura Beak dove, low, circling. Tuskunai steadied himself. Kurofangra took one step forward. The throwing stars along his back spun slowly, one by one. Shk, shk, shk. I felt it then. Not fear, not panic, something else. "You picked the wrong sanctuary," I said quietly. The first of the council stepped through the dust, and before they could speak, Kurofangra moved. Shka! Still flashed, and the light had finally began. The moment the figures stepped through the broken entrance, we struck. Aura Beak dove first. A blinding flash of light tore through the dust, forcing the council back as their cloaks snapped in the wind. Tink! Tuskunai launched forward, spinning off his kunai ring and slamming into one of them with precision, with a precise crushing force. Kurofangra didn't hesitate. He surged ahead, his sword antlers clashing against their defenses, while the throwing stars along his back ripped through the air, forcing the rest to scatter. "Push them out," I shouted. They moved together, not separate, not competing. A team. Aura Beak's wings sent a shockwave through the chamber. Tuskunai struck low. Kurofangra cut through the center. And just like that, the council broke. One by one, they retreated through the shattered entrance, their forms flickering as they pulled back. Silence returned, dust settled. I exhaled slowly. Yeah, a small, steady smile formed. We're not hiding anymore. Behind me, tink. Above me, a soft wing beat. Ahead, a quiet metallic chime. We didn't just survive. We won the fight against the council that day. But the council would return someday. Maybe even tomorrow. I was wondering where Zena and Luna were, though. They were not present in this fight. It was as if I had summoned them just by thinking about them, because Zena and Luna stepped from their chambers. "What's going on?" Luna asked. "We beat the council this time," I replied. Luna's eyes widened slightly, her gaze flicking past me to the shattered entrance. Zena stepped up beside her, arms already crossed, scanning the room. "You beat them?" Zena said, raising an eyebrow. "The council?" I nodded, still catching my breath. "Yeah, they tried to force their way in." Behind me. Tink. Tuskunai landed calmly at my side, and Aura Beak gave a slow, steady flap from above. Kurofangra stood near the broken entrance, his sword antlers still angled forward, watching the outside like he expected them to come back. Luna stepped forward slowly, her eyes locking onto Kurofangra. "That's news," she said quietly. "Yukimori," I replied, same as Tuskunai. Zena let out a low whistle. "Oh, so you just survived the council?" She smirked slightly. "You leveled up." A faint metallic shk, shk, shk came from Kurofangra's tail as the throwing star shifted. Not aggressive, just alert. Luna looked back at me. "They're going to come back, you know." I didn't hesitate. "I know." The broken door let a cold draft from outside for a moment in. None of us spoke. Then Zena cracked her knuckles. "Good." I blinked. "Good." She grinned, because next time, she glanced at Luna, we're fighting too. Luna gave a small smile. Not soft, not scared. Ready. I looked at all of them. My team, my glyphs, my home, my friends, and for the first time since the council found us, I wasn't worried. "Yeah," I said. "Next time they won't even make it through the door." Right as the tension settled, I smelled it. At first I thought my brain was trying to cope. Something sweet, warm, impossible. I blinked. No way. Then it hit me again, stronger this time, sugary, but not just sugary, something cosmic like stardust and spice, and heat all at once. I'm not hallucinating, I whispered. Right on cue, Astra stepped out from the kitchen, holding a massive tray. Steam curled up from it in soft, glowing wisp. Fresh batch, she said casually. Starbound muffins. My stomach growled loud. Zena snorted. Wow, Council of Elders attacks and this is what takes you out? I haven't eaten, I shot. Luna laughed softly, already stepping toward Astra. They smell amazing. Aura Beak tilted his head from above, clearly confused. Tuskunai gave a curious tink as he hopped closer. Kurofangra actually hesitated. The faint glow from the muffins reflected in his blade antlers just as he stepped away from the entrance, drawn in despite himself. The throwing stars along his back gave a soft, almost curious chime. Astra raised an eyebrow. Well, are you all just going to stare, or... I didn't wait. I grabbed one. The moment I bit into it, warmth spread instantly. Not just in my mouth, everywhere. Okay, I said, eyes widening. That's illegal. Zena grabbed two. Move. Luna laughed, taking one more gently. Those might actually fix everything. Tuskunai hopped closer again, staring at the muffins in my hand. I crouched down. You want one? He tilted slightly. I broke off a small piece and held it out. Tink. He accepted it. Kurofangra stood a few steps back, watching. I looked over at him. You too? For a moment, nothing. Then slowly he stepped forward, careful, measured. I held out a piece. He lowered his head slightly and took it. Silence. Then a soft metallic chime ran down the line of throwing stars along his back. Not sharp, not tense, content. I smiled. Even Aura Beak dropped down, grabbed one from the tray with a quick snap before hopping back up. Astra crossed her arms, satisfied. See? Balance. Zena leaned against the counter, mouth full. Yeah, we just fought the council and now we're having muffins. Luna smiled softly. I like this version better. I looked around the room at everyone, at my glyphs, at the broken entrance that didn't feel as threatening anymore. Yeah, I said quietly, me too. For now, we weren't fighting. We weren't hiding. We were just being. I was halfway through a starbound muffin when I looked up at the shattered entrance. Yeah, that's not good work. Or that's not going to work, I said. Zena followed my gaze and sighed. Yeah, unless you want the council walking in again, we should probably fix that. Luna set her muffin down and stepped closer to the doorway, examining the cracks. We can seal it, she said, but it'll take all of us. Tink. Tuskunai hopped forward, ready. Kurofangra moved beside him, sword antlers lowered slightly as the throwing stars along his back gave a soft metallic shk. Aura Beak circled above, wings glowing. All right, I said, stepping up. Together. Aura Beak released a controlled burst of light, sealing the outer edges. Tuskunai struck the broken stone into place with precise rhythmic impacts. Tink, tink, tink. Kurofangra carved clean lines along the fracture, his blades smooth and locking everything together. Luna pressed her hands to the wall, energy weaving through the cracks. Zena reinforced it, grounding everything in place. I placed my hand at the center. The seal pulsed once, then went still. Silence. The doorway was whole again, stronger than before. Zena smirked. Yeah, let them try that again. I took another bite of my muffin. Next time, they're not going to get past us.